Okay, we're live. What is this, Lady Ada?
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this Thursday night special edition broadcast. It's us, Adafruit, hanging out with Digi-Key, all the way in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. But right now, we're together virtually on Discord, which is our 24-hour hackerspace for everybody to hang out on. We got a special month-long event. Want to talk about what this month-long event is, Phil?
That's right. So
let's do it.
Yeah, for the month of June and then part of July. So 24/7, you can go into the Digi-Key Discord channel inside of the Adafruit Discord server. It's over 6,000 makers hanging out all the time. My favorite quote is, I think it was a retired engineer. He said, "Oh, it's a 24-hour hackerspace, makerspace that I can bring my granddaughter to." So
I hang out there all the time.
Yeah, so folks can stop in. All the Adafruit channels there, Circuit, Python, 3D printing, all the stuff. And we also have Digi-Key for at least the entire month doing stuff. And we're going to have an event every Thursday at 8 p.m. And tonight we're going to ask the community what type of things that they want to see. And we have the Digi-Key team here. They're going to introduce themselves in just a minute.
Taking requests.
But when we do Desk of Lady Ada, one of the most popular things is you're like, I'm going to go spec apart, and then we go to the Digi-Key site and you do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I thought that'd be neat to do one of those live with the Digi-Key team. Someone already in the chat, they're like, oh, hey, I want to get a connector for this, that. Where do I find that on the Digi-Key site?
Yeah.
So this is useful stuff.
Yeah.
For not only beginners, but then professional engineers.
You can never be good enough.
You can, yeah.
At learning how to use the Digi-Key site.
Yeah, and we also added some fun emojis to the server. You got a little Digi-Key box and a maker and a
the maker thing. And did you look? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
we're here.
Yeah. So let's beam the team in here.
Zoop, 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 zoop.
All right. Hello, Digi-Key.
Hey. Hi.
Hey, everyone.
Hey. Why don't you introduce yourselves? Because everyone knows us, but they don't know you.
All right, I'll go first. I'm sitting in the back, Seth, and I work marketing/business ecosystem. Basically, so my job here at Digi-Key is to run the Maker.io site, as well as some of the events that we attend, such as Maker Fair and some other cool Hackaday Super Conference, and we go to a lot of really fun events that we team up with Adafruit product and make the events go even better.
And I'm Nate Larson. I'm the product manager for I get to make sure that we have all the Adafruit stuff. And then I work with Kevin a lot with the Maker events.
Hey there, I'm Kyle. I am in Geeks here at Digi-Key. I work with our YouTube channel, produce some videos on projects and teaching moment videos. Also was recently guys and have fun building stuff.
So the interesting thing is we all come from application engineering at one point spread out in different areas. So we're way up here in Thief River Falls, and it is not cold today.
This is the one day.
Well, it's interesting in Thief River Falls. I used to live in Minnesota, so it's really cold and really hot, and there's not a lot in between.
No.
Yeah.
No, there's no like the weather. Just wait 5 minutes and it'll change.
Okay, well, I did want to remind folks, and I'm going to get to some of the things in the chat. So there's a short URL that I had asked Digi-Key to do, and they did. So if you go to digikey.com/Adafruit, all the Adafruit stuff is there. A lot of folks, so we don't offer every type of shipping, and Digi-Key just ships like 1 billion more packages than us, and so
literally it's like 1 billion.
Yeah, and so folks they're just like, oh, I want to get this day, or there's the cutoffs are different because you have an airport, I think, at Digi-Key. So if you want to get Adafruit stuff, you can go to digikey.com/Adafruit. And they usually have, if not everything, sometimes you even have more stuff than we do because you'll have it in stock because we just sent it to you. So that's a good.
That is true.
That's a good pro tip. So I'm going to go over to Discord chat real quick, and a couple of things that people already mentioned. Digi-Key, hey, I love you folks. You were the easiest online supplier for me to work with when working on my own wearable media projects for school.
That's true. It is so easy.
Yay. Yeah. As far as a couple questions I have about Digi-Key, about how many packages do you think you ship a day? About how many orders do you remember?
We're averaging about 22,000 now.
22,000.
22,000.
Wow. So we ship maybe up to 2,000 some days.
But that's a lot.
But yeah, 1,000, 2,000 is for us. And then do you ship worldwide?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you ship worldwide?
Yes. Yeah, we can actually reach anywhere in the globe in 48 hours or less.
Wow.
Epic.
Okay.
Fast.
And everything you buy, as long as you place your order before 8 p.m. Central that day.
So that's the cutoff.
You need a clock that says like Digi-Key time, and it's like it's central.
Yeah. Someone in the chat mentioned, I'll pop over to this. Someone in the chat mentioned that the cutoff is 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's handy. Ours is like 2 p.m. because we have to get it because we had like the UPS in all the.
Well, we don't ship 22,000 packages a day, so we don't have like our
Yeah.
very own UPS truck. I'm sure there's Digi-Key has like their own fleet of UPS and FedEx trucks that show up every day.
Okay.
Yeah, we have UPS and FedEx planes that come out of our. So they go right to the main hubs in the central U.S. I think it's Louisville and the other one is, but yeah. So we have flights go out multiple times a day out of our.
All the traffic out of our airport is UPS and FedEx.
That's cool.
Not so many passenger flights.
Not so many. There's a couple.
You know, you get those people make those like Raspberry Pi flight aware trackers. You can set one up to watch the flights leaving Digi-Key because you know like what the airport code is, and then you'll be like, "There's my package, it's flying."
Okay, a couple more things from the chat. Mike says Mike bought his first Arduino Uno from Digi-Key in 2011. Digi-Key orders arrive less than 24 hours if they order in the afternoon next morning. Shipping's awesome. So okay, that's what I think a lot of folks know Digi-Key for is you have every type of part and then it gets there fast. Someone in the chat earlier, if Digi-Key, if y'all want to scroll back up, they were looking for a certain type of connector that goes with something. So all throughout the month, people in the chat, what would be the best way if they have a question for your team or some of the folks at Digi-Key, if they have things like that to ask, if like, where do I find this, or how do I do that? What's the best way for them to ask?
Yeah, ask it on Discord, and we'll see what we can do to answer it. It may not be immediate, but we'll.
If you need an immediate response, you can always go to our website. We've got chat on the website that you can talk with either customer service or tech support. Otherwise, phone.
Yeah, I heard that people every year they call Digi-Key on like Christmas Day to say hello because you have 24/7 phone. Is that true?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what time you call Digi-Key, you will go in under 2 rings.
And in Thief River Falls.
Really?
Yeah, 1-800-DIGI-KEY.
Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe.
If you want, give it the call.
So here's some of the things that we're going to do for the future shows. So one is Lady Ada is going to spec out something on Digi-Key.
Yeah, I'm specing parts constantly, so I'll just do that live instead of at my desk. It'll be like exactly what I do, but it'll be on the internet.
And we have a payphone here, so what we'll do is we'll call Digi-Key one of the times, and we'll ask a question. How does that sound? We'll give everyone a heads up and everything. Okay, and then back to the Digi-Key team here. Part spec, we'll call customer service one of these times.
That'll be fun.
Okay, anything Digi-Key team wants to see via Discord? I figure we could do some Digi-Key trivia one of these because the company's been around for a long time. I'm not going to ask you Wikipedia style question, but do you have a little bit of a history background with Digi-Key? Do you know some of the things about the company, how long it's been around? What is a Digi-Keyer?
Yeah, we can actually absolutely answer that. I can walk you through kind of the history of Digi-Key and how it became a company, if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why we're here. So
back in the early 1970s, Digi-Key was founded in 1972. And 72, our founder, Stordahl, was creating a digital keyer, which was a way to send Morse code digitally over ham radio. And he bought reels of parts to produce this product that he made. And it turns out he had a lot of extra parts because you could only buy a full reel back then. So instead of just sitting on them, he decided to, in magazines, in electronics magazines, and people would buy these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at a time instead of buying the entire reel. And eventually, people started coming back. These I need more, and I don't want to buy a full reel. And okay, this looks like a better deal. Which the ham radio was a great product, or the Digi-Key, I mean, was a great product, but it turns out selling components was a little better. And so he started this out of the backseat of his car, and I think of his parents' house. And here we are, Digi-Key, many years later.
And Dave, the president, came out, and we were able to take photos of the Digi-Key. We have that on our site, and we have that blog post, and we also put up the schematic. It's a piece of history. So we had that when we first started the Adafruit and Digi-Key partnership. And in fact, here's I'll go to the chat because here's a good question. It's a two-parter because I know the history on this. First up, We Sell Cookies says, just want to say thanks for Digi-Key for all the good work. And then JMK says, hey Digi-Key, I have a question. What is the kind of partnership between the two companies? You sell everything from Adafruit and you're both electronics sellers. It seems kind of strange that there's two websites that both ship electronics, but both overlap and you sell Adafruit. How does that work? Plus, how did you decide to talk to Adafruit about a partnership? So I'll answer some of this and maybe Digi-Key can chime in. So Adafruit only really sells like Adafruit stuff. We are a reseller of other things, but we're never going to sell the millions of components that Digi-Key has. One, we don't have enough space. And the other thing, we're just not built for that. We make custom products. Lady Ada makes things like Feather and Fona, Circuit Playground, and we manufacture here. We'll do a quick little tour of the factory. Maybe someone in chat can remind us if we forget. And the history of how we ran into Digi-Key was when Adafruit was a tiny company. I think it was just like maybe 3 or 4 of us. We had emailed Digi-Key sort of. We're like, hey, we're fans, and like we buy electronics from Digi-Key. Would you ever want to stock our stuff? And it was just we were unknown at the time. And then I think what happened was after some of our products started to take off, people were searching for Adafruit stuff on the Digi-Key site enough for Digi-Key to reach out to us and say, hey, we want to start stocking some Adafruit stuff. And we're like, this is great news. And when we had when we started really talking, we're like, hey, let's get some of the history, because in the maker world, not everyone knows what a Digi-Key is, and in the Digi-Key world, not everyone knows what an Adafruit is. Yeah. So we had Dave Doherty come out, and you did a really good interview. It's one of our like most watched interviews.
You can watch it right now in another video if you want another window.
Yeah. So that's a history from our side. I don't know, Digi-Keyers. Do you refer to each other as Digi-Keyers? Is that?
No.
No.
Digi-Cons.
But no.
Digi-Key?
Our side, the manufacturing versus distribution, there have over the years been a few development boards that we've attempted to make, and we learned there's a huge difference between manufacturing and distribution. We do distribution very well. We do not do manufacturing very well, so that we don't want to get into that market. That's not something we want to do. So it's just to help those who are manufacturing companies.
And then about, I don't know, maybe it was 4 or 5 years ago. I retired from Make Magazine a while ago, but Digi-Key jumped feet first into the maker world. How long has the Digi-Key team been doing things like with Make Magazine and Maker Faire and all that stuff? Because that's your wheelhouse, as they say, the folks at the table there.
Yeah, so we've had in Make Magazine for many years, but when we first into the whole maker market, it's been about 2, maybe closer to 3 years that we realized this is really a market that we want to jump into. What Digi-Key's made of. I mean, a maker who's going to buy 1, 2, 3 parts, which is what every maker needs a couple of resistors. They don't need a full reel of 10,000 of them. So we figured that's a great customers to reach, and started as a maker. Ron Stordahl was a maker to start the company, so let's go back to talk to those customers. So then we did create a website, IO, which is a more simplistic website for customers to get products and learn a little bit about Digi-Key. And we also have a 10-step roadmap, which Lamore did 10 amazing videos, more videos to watch, right, Lamore?
Yay!
Yeah, that was a maker to market. We actually went through every single part of from beginner. Maybe you're just learning how to do some basic electronics, all the way to here's how we ship thousands of packages each day. Here's how we get the parts. Here's how we do the marketing. Here's how we budget for stuff. That was a really neat series. And I guess to segue on that, because another question in the chat was, that was for Maker.io, which is part of Digi-Key. Can you talk a little bit about what Maker.io is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Maker.io is meant more for the makers out there. Our website, which you guys both know very well, there's a lot of components on there. It's just one resistor. You don't need to find 10,000 of the same style resistor if you're just a maker out there. So we're trying to make on Maker.io a lot more for the, and we also have that roadmap that you guys did. We have projects and posts and blogs that are just very relevant to the maker space and trying to, hearing conversation where engineering can be understand if you're not an engineer. So we're just trying to help everybody that wants to make electronics.
Okay.
Cool.
And then, check
it out on the blogs.
Oh, what was that?
I would say definitely go check out Maker.io. Check out the blogs. We just revamped our homepage a couple weeks ago, so it's pretty exciting.
So someone had a fun joke. Were you reeling after you're buying your first reel? Ha ha ha. We have lots of puns in there because we have a Discord's really fit. We made it family friendly and everything, so we have really corny jokes there. So were you reeling after you buying your first reel? Well, this is a kind of a tough one because you're at Digi-Key. Hey, Digi-Key, what's your favorite part on digikey.com? Is that even possible to have a favorite part?
Out of 8 million some, it's kind of hard to choose.
Well, I thought if I said Adafruit.
Oh, good answer.
Circuit Playground is pretty freaking cool.
I was going to say the Circuit Playground Express. To be completely honest, I'm not an engineer, so I have no idea what they do. So the Circuit Playground is much fun to play with. It has everything on it you need. That's a great product. Honestly, here that say you're in customer service or sales, their answer would probably be batteries.
Most definitely for a lot of people here.
Yeah, batteries are tough to ship. I mean, we go through all of the certifications and all the training, and it's one of the things that is really hard to do. And you have to do it right, and it's highly regulated. And there's so many different types of batteries, and modern day electronics is basically screen battery internet. Like that's it now. It's an IoT thing. I'll ask Lady Ada.
Everything is just battery management.
Yeah, I'll ask Lady Ada. What's your favorite part? Non-Adafruit stuff, because you make that stuff.
What's my favorite what?
What's a unique or interesting part that you got on Digi-Key that was like, oh yeah?
I think one of the funniest parts I got is like the first part I ever got from Digi-Key, which is 6.5536 megahertz crystal, which I got to make red boxes, which I called on the phone to spec because there was no website. This was like 25 years ago. Calling the phone.
That's probably where I got mine too.
And I'd have to spell out what the part is. I'd say, well, this is what it is. I don't know what the part number is. They didn't have a catalog either. And I ordered them. They were really cheap because they were only like 25 cents. If you got them through Radio Shack, they were like $3.
Yeah.
And sometimes they weren't in stock. So you could just get like 50.
Yeah.
And then commit crimes.
So question from the chat: does Digi-Key have more electronic components or bags for electronic components? And do you sell anti-static bags?
We do. Yes. I'm not sure if we sell more. We go through a lot of them here.
So another interesting fact, talking about our warehouse and bags, is we just started a very large addition. We have right now, if you add the different buildings we have around the area, we have about 1 million of usable square footage right now. And we're breaking ground. If I had a robotic camera like you have at Adafruit, I'd bring it out to the window and show you all the trucks working. We're building a 2 square foot warehouse right behind us. So it's a very exciting time here at Digi-Key.
If you could take some photos, we'll play those on the next Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's just photos.
I mean, I can even sneak over then. Send it over.
Now, save it for the future ones. You know, but this is a really good excuse. You can now put in an expense for one of those drones that takes really nice photos, because you can be like, hey, we have
so I'm on the video team, and a while back we were the remote start video that we just released, and Kevin was out flying a drone for the parking lot footage, and there was a little mishap, crashed it into the side of the building.
That's what drones do.
It flew almost right into the Digi-Key sign. It's pretty funny.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're still around.
Well, just to compare, we have 50,000 square feet, and we have a little tiny drone, and we were able to do a little tour around the factory.
Yeah, you get the little like the book drone that would fly up.
So speaking of, what I'll do is, since the chat room has been so helpful and nice and asking me questions, we'll do a little Adafruit tour around here.
Yeah.
Real quick. So this is where we make the electronics, and then we put them in a box and send them to Digi-Key. But Lady Ada,
it's a selective solder machine.
Yeah, do your thing.
It's so quiet right now.
It's very quiet because it's 8:30 here.
I know, but I'm saying it's off. But it's been running all day making.
What does that machine do?
It solders components that are through-hole style.
Okay.
So headers and connectors and terminal blocks and stuff that isn't surface mount pick and place.
Okay. And I guess speaking of, that machine is used for the Cricut, which Digi-Key is part of.
Yeah. So you can see this
for
part.
some upcoming stuff.
Yeah, this is Digi-Key is a partner on this project. So you can see these are through-hole connectors, and this jack is mechanical. So these through-hole parts are selective soldered.
So that if you didn't have a selective solder machine, you'd have to hand solder them.
Yeah, and it takes so long. But what's really neat is, for the video that we had on the show yesterday, it can solder all 24 of these pads in about 4 seconds. It just goes shoop, and it does all of them at once, which is really neat. Much faster than if you were doing individually one by one. And it uses nitrogen so that there's no bridging. So it's a really nice solder connection. Really nice. And then it does the terminal block. So it goes in a circle. Actually, it starts over here and goes zoop and all the way to the round.
Okay, so that's the selective solder machine.
Yep.
You can see the camera shake a little bit because we're in New York City and there's subways that go underneath.
Yeah.
Okay, so
these are the nitrogen generators. They take nitrogen out of the atmosphere, and they store it in that tank. So the blue thing on the left is the extractor, and the blue thing on the right, the rounded thing, is the tank with all the 99.9% pure nitrogen. So you don't want to breathe that. It's used by the selective solder machine to make sure that the solder doesn't oxidize or bridge. It creates a nice inert environment. So it's like welding and soldering is very similar. The cleaner the air, the less oxygen in the air, the better, because that way the solder points are nice and clean. It's especially difficult with lead-free solder, which we do here.
And we're kind of going backwards on the line, which is fine.
That's our oven.
Yep.
At the end of the line.
Normally, after the oven, that's when you do selective solder.
I know, this is going backwards in time.
It's fine.
So that's our oven, and all of our boards go through the oven. And that's what heats up the solder paste that comes from the previous steps and melts the components into place. It's off right now. It's so silent.
Very quiet. And then down the line there, that's the pick and place machines.
There's the two pick and place machines, one after the other. And yeah, those pick and place the 30,000 components per hour each. And they're two Samsung. They're the same kind, so we can swap the feeders. That's kind of why I got two of the same kind. You see, all the feeders are loaded in and ready to run tomorrow's job.
Okay. And then last up.
That's my desk.
That's your desk. That's desk lady.
I'm not there right now.
You're not at your desk right now.
Because I'm here, but that's over there. Yeah, that's where I'm usually at.
All right. So let me go back to the chat room. So in the chat, we had another question. This one was, does Adafruit sell anything that we get from Digi-Key, because Digi-Key sells stuff to Adafruit? And I would say, yeah, but it's not the way you think.
They're in parts.
Yeah,
I mean, the parts are already placed. So we buy the chips and components, and then we solder them using those machines. So we don't sell the bare part, really. We only really sell them fully assembled.
Yeah. I guess I'll flick this over to Digi-Key. I think this is a more question on our fabrication machines, but QA is always a big deal, and it's really rare to not get the right thing from Digi-Key. In fact, it's so rare someone's like, oh, finally I got, you know, a wrong part. Like, it's really difficult. What if you remember, or if you know, when an order gets placed or when the components come in, what type of QA happens? Because, you know, one resistor looks like another resistor. How do you make sure?
They don't look identical. All the capacitors look the same.
How do you go through and make sure some of these things are correct? Because there's like millions of them.
You know, that's a really interesting question. Some really good equipment to use that we use in the warehouse, which some of it I can. But one thing that's very surprising is you're not going to find all the resistors in one area. It's not like this is the resistor cluster central area. Everything is scattered. And it's based upon how often parts are purchased and what kind of the are. So
yep, we do that too. We do velocity storage, things that are frequently ordered or closer to where they're the shipping stations.
Yeah, exactly. So every part has a bin, and we're very careful to make sure the right component, and you know, it's something that we take pride in. There's many different steps. The person picking the part off the shelf will confirm what it is, as well as the person to a box. They'll double check that it's the correct part. And yeah, I know resistors, but you know, with the part numbers in the box, we're pretty good at it.
Just thinking of our processes, there's not a single component that goes out of Digi-Key that isn't verified at least 5 times.
Yeah.
There's a lot of QA.
And of course, everything's barcoded. That was a big leap for us when we were at a tiny apartment company. When it was Lamore and Kidding, and I was shipping, and I'd have to just remember where things were, and there wasn't we didn't have barcodes on everything, and I was the QA, and if something was sent out wrong, a customer would send an email and go to Lamore, so I'd have to make sure I didn't do that. But now once you have barcodes, you can do things. And then and shipping, you could do things with scales and see the weight of the package. That's good for dimensional shipping to keep your shipping costs down. So y'all are on top of all that.
Yeah, components have a lot of barcode tracking and like historic, like you know, usually they have multiple tracking codes, like date codes, when they were made, where they were made, because all this stuff used in certain kind of process, like, you know, highly specified assembly processes, you have to have traceability all the way back. So Digi-Key is like one of the companies that does traceability all the way. So it's like, if you need to know like what batch this came from, you can find out.
So Digi-Key's been doing blockchain longer than everyone else, I guess.
Kinda. Barcode chain.
Digi-chain. Okay, a couple other questions from the chat. And you know, some of these, if we need to save it for the chat or later, that's fine too. So someone wanted to know, is a warehouse organized by Mongo non-relational database? And then I'll go to the next one. So do you recall, do you know how the warehouse is organized by either one of those?
If I recall, it's actually a proprietary system. And constantly, there's thousands of parts that move every night in order to optimize shipment speed.
That's cool.
Okay. Next question. This one is, what kind of bins or storage does Digi-Key have for non-real parts? The parts that aren't reals, how do you store those?
Well, it depends on what it's in. I mean, I know I answered, somebody asked one of the weird things I purchased one day, and I actually bought a hammer off of Digi-Key's website. So a product like that is going to be just in a large bin. It's not necessarily going to be ESD safe. But a lot of products, like a lot of our Adafruit products, some of them are in boxes. It really depends on the product. I mean, it's full of shelves and bins that are, I mean, it looks like the background of Adafruit in a way. Yeah. I mean, I can see right behind Phil all the parts back there.
Yeah, and this is just one of our floors. When I talk to the folks from Digi-Key, it just reminds me of like Adafruit's an earlier version of, and we're similar in some ways, not to scale, but privately held. There's no venture capital. That Digi-Key, it's not a publicly traded company. Adafruit isn't. So it allows us to do really interesting independent things that isn't focused on quarterly ups and downs of everything. You can spend a lot of time and get quality up and get good stuff and not worry about earnings report, because you don't have to report to folks who aren't interested in the business or just interested in other things. So that's always handy.
Yeah, and that actually leads into one of the main metrics here at DigiKey. Earnings is not our main metric. Our main metric here has always been customer count. We always want to customers and grow the market, grow who are using electronics. That I tend to see a lot in blogs and things like that. That kind of people say that they just order small quantities, and so DigiKey doesn't care about them. Well, those are the customers that we care about the most because they've got the greatest potential.
Okay, more questions from the chat. We're going to keep doing this. I don't know how many people were going to ask questions, but there's a bunch. Okay, well, someone asked what the Digi-Key parts are on the Cricket. We'll get to that one because it's going to take a little bit. This one I can answer. Is there a case where Digi-Key refused to sell some Adafruit products? No. In fact, Digi-Key's like, can we get more? So
yeah, I think they said everything that they wanted to.
They've not come up with something so weird where Digi-Key's like, no, we'll pass. So that's we got a good batting average right now. Here's a question. In the Maker IO section or in general, is there an easy way to get the most common prototyping parts where I don't need to know the mass selection of specs? I just want a common pack of LM714s as an example. That's a good idea. We'll probably that's just a good idea. That might be a neat thing that the community can help out with, like what things are on Digi-Key that would be neat for like a prototyping pack that you could spin up as, because we do shipper picked, so it appears as a pack on our site, but then it gets picked up from all the different places of Adafruit. Maybe Digi-Key could do something like that.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because we are in on that. We're trying to revamp the parts list on Maker to make it more Maker friendly, and I think it'd be great to come up with some prototyping package, random capacitors, resistors, and yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, what was that? You cut off.
Yeah, we both cut off there. You know, it might be neat. Ask some of the Maker engineers out there that like run businesses, and instead of like their music playlist, it's like, what's your parts playlist, and just have that up there as an add to cart option. So here's Bunny's playlist, Lady Ada, Star Simpson. Like that'd be kind of cool.
That would be awesome.
That's pretty fun.
Okay, next one. What's the smallest and largest part item that Digi-Key sells? That might be a good one for a future show, but what's the biggest thing that you sell, and what's the smallest thing that you sell? Smallest is probably easiest to do. Biggest one is probably a little harder to figure out.
What is the biggest thing?
A solar panel? I don't know. Something.
Some test equipment, maybe?
Could probably look at the...
I think there's some I think that they sell some cabinets.
Yeah,
you can get
some server racks or cabinets and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would have to be the largest.
Those are pretty big, and then small. I mean, the smallest is 1005 parts. I mean, they get so small. I don't know even at that scale how you can't even tell what's smaller because it's smaller than you can see.
All right, so some homework assignments. Maybe figure out what the biggest one is. First, one of the upcoming ones, the smallest one, and then maybe the lowest cost one, and then the most expensive. That'd be new because Adafruit can do that. So I think
people like extremes.
Yeah, I think 3D printers that'd be expensive. For us, that's like a few $1,000s.
There's probably like a $50,000 oscilloscope or something. Like there's like high frequency test equipment that's just bonkers.
I did that a couple years ago, and there was a FPGA that was dollars.
Yeah, there's an $18,000.
$18,000 FPGA. I'm sure, like when they ship it, it's like somebody carries it on a little pillow, and then they like carefully place it.
I guess there's some
golden box.
There's some sports ball questions. Are Digi-Key folks Washington Capitol fans? And then they're asking Washington or Las Vegas for the Stanley Cup. Do you have any opinions about this? I don't.
So I know people probably don't want to hear that, but
all right.
He's from this area. He's actually north of Thief River. He's from a small town called Warroad, Minnesota, which is, like I said, an hour and a half away. So I like Las Vegas.
All right. And another question. This is my question because I happen to know the answer. There's another company that Thief River is kind of known for. It's not an electronics company. It makes a certain type of vehicle.
Do you want the chat to guess what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Take that, people.
That's what it is.
Yeah. They're out there, and it's a pretty well-known brand. It's an industry, but it's a very specific type of vehicle that you can't drive around on the streets. Really, it's a different type of vehicle.
What else is made in Thief River Falls other than resistors?
Are they based out of Thief River?
Saturn cars? What is it?
Not Saturn.
Yes,
Oh, Saturn's there?
They're right next door.
Okay, Saturn's there.
Yeah, they're literally. No,
not Saturn. No.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't think it's Saturn. Tractors? No, well, not really. Let's see if anyone guesses it. If no one guesses it, I'll
trivia.
There's the original part of our headquarters.
What was that?
The original part of our building was their old headquarters.
Okay.
Tanks.
All right.
Ooh,
that's Canadian, but you're on the right path.
Let's see.
This one's slower than that one.
Yeah, I have one chat. I say I have two chats that are open. Gator Skidoo tanks.
Skidoo.
Yeah.
Skidoo is really close though.
Okay. Snow things. Yep.
Snow things.
I'll count snow things.
Snow things is the way.
Can you give the answer?
So yeah, the answer is Arctic Cat snowmobiles, which very recently was just purchased by Textron, which is a very large off-road company. So basically, Arctic Cat snowmobiles.
Which makes sense because
it's right next door to us.
In the wintertime,
if there was a hole, you'd be able to see the Arctic.
You could just
in the wintertime. Do you ride those around?
Yes.
Is it the only way to get around?
The only way to get to work some days, yes. So I actually have a cat where it's made for like 4 or 5 year old kids. So I have one. It's like a 9 kids to ride around our yard.
Oh, cool! My first snowmobile. All right. Well, I think we got through most of the questions, and we're at the half an hour mark. So I think we're gonna call it a night. Thank you so much, Digi-Key. This was fantastic. The chat's open 24/7, and then I kind of look at this as like a little bit of an oil painting because like today's day one. It's a public channel. Folks can come in, start asking your Digi-Key questions. We have this event that we do every week. So what we'll do is each day, we're going to be in the chat. You'll all be in the chat, and then maybe we'll come up with a hashtag for the Discord room because there's thousands of people that are on different schedules. That way we can figure out like maybe it'll be like pound ask Digi-Key or something like that, so we can load up even more questions. But this is just a start. I think maybe next week we'll do the part spec.
And then somebody had a cool comment. They said their first experience with Digi-Key is they had a 3D STL file for the part. That's really handy.
Yeah, it's getting more popular now. I think people are making more enclosures and doing more things to get to market. So your Digi-Key starting to put up a lot of the 3D renderings of the parts now.
Yes, 3D and 360 view. Yep.
That's very futuristic. Okay, sorry. Please continue. That's cool.
No, that was it. And then the next video will be next Thursday at 8 p.m. I thought we'd give something away, if that's all right. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, give something away.
Okay. Well,
while you're looking for something, somebody Brookie finals right now, and I just want to say between Arctic Cat and Digi-Key, seems that we're right next door to each other. We have an annual hop. It's at Digi-Key, and Dave Doherty is actually one of the players for Digi-Key. So he's got the skates and he plays hockey against Arctic Cat once a year.
Whoa!
Who wins usually?
It's actually gone back and forth, but unfortunately, most recently we did not win.
Okay.
Arctic Cat.
Well, that just means you can have a major comeback. That's
right.
Okay, so I think what we're going to give away tonight, we'll give away a Cricut because it's a Adafruit and Digi-Key thing that we did together.
Yay.
And here's how we're going to do the giveaway. We're gonna make this easy because giveaways are always tough because the chat rooms are never synced up. We're gonna do what we do on Ask an Engineer. We're gonna allow someone who's watching to call in here. Also want to make sure the phone works for this crazy setup that I have to get all this stuff going. And let me turn on the phone. And all they have to do is call our phone number. and Lady Ada will ask what you want to build. And I think that's the best way to do
I'll also
this.
ask them if they've ever ordered anything from DigiKey. It's worth it. I mean, if it's okay if they say no, that's a good opportunity.
So let me, so this is the phone number.
Call now.
It's OwnBitStab. If you're watching the chat, you can call the number, and
you need to give me the partner with the number.
Yeah, so that's the phone number. So anyone who's watching, we'll see how this goes. This is always tough because you know, it's not everyone uses phones anymore.
Oh.
They're on the internet. So let's see if anyone calls.
Don't call 1-800-DigiKey.
And
they're not going to give you free stuff.
If you won on Ask an Engineer, you can call now because there is no rules for this.
This is a no rules.
No rules.
No rules.
It's OwnBitStab. You have to look on the phone and figure out the numbers.
You can win twice.
The letters. And,
because this show is a different show.
Yeah.
This is not Ask an Engineer.
Okay, while we're waiting for folks, I'm going to go back to the chat real quick.
Oh.
That was fast.
It's the phone.
Okay.
Ready?
And the Digi-Key people should be able to hear this.
Yeah, we can hear.
Hello? Hello, you've won a fabulous prize. Hello?
Yeah, hey.
Hey, congratulations. Can you turn down your computer audio so you don't get weird echo stuff?
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Where
Hi.
are you calling from?
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is James. I'm calling from Detroit.
Hey, James from Detroit. Well, congratulations. You've won Cricket, and I'll send you also a Circuit Playground Express so you can use it. Wow, you get so much free stuff. Isn't that cool? Well, congratulations.
That is awesome.
Have you ever ordered anything from DigiKey before?
No, I haven't, but I've worked for people that have.
Okay, well, see, there you go. What's a project you're working on or you want to work on?
Right now, I'm working on a project for FCA. It's part of the PM Preventive Maintenance Project. I'm using, what am I using? I'm using a trinket to control a B&O 055 and an RTC. And basically, we're logging into a Pi, and we're using the Pi to send it to the web.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Or data analysis. Yeah.
That's a pretty complicated project. Well, we're going to send you some free stuff that maybe you can use in your project or for your personal project.
Email support at Adafruit and then say attention Phil.
Yeah, okay, so email support@adafruit.com, SUPPORT@adafruit.com, and say attention Phil.
Say I was a Digi-Key Discord winner.
I was a Digi-Key Discord winner from Detroit, and we'll get you all that stuff. We'll figure it out.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. Have a great night. And check in next Thursday. We'll do this again.
You guys rock. I got to
sign up. All right. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. That was so successful.
All right. So this means that we'll be able to call customer service live.
That was a test, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to call in next time because I want to create an express.
What?
Well, I guess technically you could.
I guess we said there's no rules.
You just go to the warehouse and get one of these.
You can't. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, that's everything. Thank you so much, Digi-Key, for hanging out with us and doing this crazy Discord thing. And the chat room's open for at least 30 days, and we'll keep at this. And thank you, everyone in the Adafruit community, all of the team members, and thanks to Teddy and Nikki who helped set this up, everyone on the Digi-Key team, and then everyone in the chat who answered and asked really good questions. And then don't forget to share your Digi-Key stories, because that's, I think, one of the things that we like to hear is how people got involved with electronics, or what was the first time they bought something, or all this different stuff.
Yes, the Digi-Key Discord channel is open.
Yep.
People from Minnesota will be there, probably in Minnesota time, but maybe later. And more will be showing up. You can ask questions about how to use Digi-Key. You can ask questions about Digi-Key's history. You can ask what is the largest and smallest item of Digi-Key, and they will try to get to you as soon as possible. And of course, you can also call on the phone if you need immediate assistance. Although the people on the phone may not know the largest and smallest items in the factory either.
We'll ask.
I think we got every question.
There's a lot of parts down there. It is like a large right underneath us right now, so it's kind of exciting.
Glad they don't do payroll deductions, because I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, we give free stuff to our employees too. They usually build really cool projects. So.
The toughest part is making sure that they you take it out through inventory. So you
we have to go through our
you have to go through the system.
Our PLM system. You probably have a similar thing.
You can't just pick it out of the bin, because then it's like it's not there and it's sad. All right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
I really appreciate this. And if anybody has any questions about DigiKey, I love the weird questions. So shoot them over. We'll do our best to answer.
They asked for the weird questions.
All right. We'll see everybody. We'll see everybody next week at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll have more fun with DigiKey and Adafruit in Discord.
See you next Thursday.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Discord lasts 24 hours a day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.